And to the witch who hexed Charlie Kirk, I fear your sales have gone through the roof. Now, 2 days ago, Jezebel had put out this article and it said, we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk.
So apparently, the word out there on the street is that a witch was the one that cursed Charlie Kirk to be unalive. Let's talk about it. Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, we want to talk about is almost like an update on this Charlie Kirk, Kirk, Kirk. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like I can pronounce his last name. I say Craig, I say Kirk. So I know it's Kirk, but please, I'm a Niger guess. Some of these words, the K and the R is rolling in my tongue. Okay, so guys, pardon me, please. So apparently, the news that is going on out there and people are talking about is the fact that a website called Jezebel did a post on the 8th of September talking about how they paid some witches from Essence, and they were hoping that something will happen to Charlie Craig. Well, I can say it, to Charlie Craig. And apparently, they said they paid some wishes on SS to do magic on him so that they can just up his day, just to mess up his day. But apparently, 2 days after that post was done, and then writing an article about what they've done and how they pay witches, he was unalive. And there's all speculation going on online talking about could it be that the witch from the S's, their charm or their whatever they did work, their ex did work on Charlie, and that's why he was killed. There's whole this debate going on. Some people are saying that Jezebel should drop the link to the witch that she used, because apparently it's like this witch is working real fast. But also some people are also squinting on the coincidence that after she did the post 2 days after Charlie was killed. But yeah, let's go check out my girl Nosy Bystander break down this article and then people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
And to the witch who hexed Charlie Kirk, I fear your sales have gone through the roof.
Okay.
Now, 2 days ago, Jezebel had put out this article and it said, we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. What? Now, in light of events of what happened to Charlie Kirk, they did put in an editor's note and said that the story was published on September 8th, and Jezebel condemns the shooting of Charlie Kirk in the strongest possible terms. We do not condone, endorse, or excuse political violence of any kind. Now, what makes the story kind of funny is that they never actually took the article down. They just edited it with that editor's note. Now, the article's long, and I'm not going to read it to you in its entirety. I encourage you to go read it yourself, but there are a couple of snippets in the article that I pulled that I thought were interesting. Now, they put in this disclaimer. They say, now, is it ethical to curse a man that I've never met? Probably not. But is it unethical to let him keep talking? Yes. So here we are in this gray area. Now, they do say that they didn't want to cause him harm, but they did want him to wake up with an inexplicable zit. Now, in this portion of the article, they do talk about the aftermath after they had hired that Etsy witch. They said the next day, the priestess sent over her cast a photo that was in flames, and the edges had slowly curled inward, engulfing Charlie's ridiculous, scrunched up little face. And she whispered, they imagine, trust the unseen, gave them chills. This is the part of the article that gets a bit insidious. They said Sunday, August 24th, nothing. And then they said Monday, still nothing. Tuesday rolled around, and I was beginning to wonder if I had been scammed. And then they said, I remembered to myself, this is a witch. And they go on to say it's not Amazon. The forces operate on their own schedule. Now, the final part of the article, they say, in witches we trust. So they say, did this Etsy curse work? Time will tell. The forces move in mysterious ways, and as the priestess reminds me, spell work is a collaboration between the caster, the client, and the universe. They say finally, for now, we can only trust in the timing of the great unknown. Yeah, friend, that witch, them sales done gone up 2,000. So go ahead and do what everybody's been asking you to do, Jezebel, on the internet, and tell everybody who was the Etsy witch you hired. Because apparently their spellcasting ability is strong and powerful.
Which is responsible for Charlie Kirk's death. 2 days ago, a website called Jezebel ran a story with the headline, "We paid Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk." After Kirk was today at the event in Utah, Jezebel added a note at the top of their article condemning the shooting, saying, "This story was published on September 8th. Jezebel condemns the shooting of Charlie Kirk in the strongest possible terms. We do not endorse, encourage, or excuse political violence of any kind." The article was also updated since its original publication on the 8th by Jezebel. The president of Pace Media Group, which owns Jezebel, said the article was a tongue-in-cheek exploration of people selling hexes on Etsy and intended as a satirical response to Charlie Kirk's rhetoric over the years. The writer was very clear that she did not want real harm to come to Kirk. What happened today is tragic and becoming all too commonplace, and we condemn this awful act of violence. The article the Jezebel writer explains is how she contacted self-advertised witches. Once again, she contacted witches to perform hexes on Kirk. She said, "I want to make it clear, I'm not calling on dark forces to cause him harm. I just want him to wake up every morning with an inexplicable zit. I want his podcast microphone to malfunction every time he hits record, to ruin his day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven would be my life's greatest joy." The Jezebel author writes that she paid 3 witches she contacted on Etsy to cast spells on Kirk, including make everyone hate him and a powerful hex spell. One of the witches sent the author her proof of cast, a photograph in flames, the edges slowly curving inward, engulfing Charlie's ridiculous scrunched up little face. She whispered, Bruh. All I'm saying is, you put out this article 2 days before this man met his demise, and you paid witches to do a hex. They sent you proof of the hex. And in this world we live in, with everything we got going on, you trusted some Etsy witches. I'm not laughing. This is not funny. But Etsy witches. I've seen it all. This is my last update on Charlie Kirk today. I'm going to bed. Etsy witches.
Genuinely think it's so crazy that the Etsy witches put out a hit on Charlie Kirk, like literally on September 8th. What's today? Okay, like technically 3 days ago, but really it was like 2 days ago. Yeah, genuinely, I always thought like Etsy witches were just, I don't know, I just always imagined like a 16, 17-year-old who set up a shop on Etsy for fun, like under their mom's name and credit card. Like, I don't know. Could you imagine though if that's still the case, and like you did this like for funsies and this happened? Like, this is actually insane. This is Death Note in real life. Like, imagine you accidentally unlock Death Note in real life. That's insane.
In no world does $100 Etsy witch spell save somebody, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not how any of this works. To have that kind of intention behind something, which wasn't even the intention of the people who got it, right? Can things go horribly wrong? Yes. I've been reading on here different people's stories about times that they tried witchcraft and it backfired on them horribly. But this situation doesn't seem like that's what's happening. It seems like correlation is not causation. So yeah, let's be realistic about pricing too, because $100, we're really creating some unrealistic expectations here. And I think the last thing I want to say is that our lives are a spell. Everything that we say and we do is a manifestation. Mm-hmm. And if you live in hatred and you are calling out to these things, it's what's going to come to you. Sure. So less about Etsy witches, more about the consequences of one's own actions.
So in case you were wondering, the root of all evil is Etsy witches. Not the policies, just a girl online selling candles. So let's get this straight. First it was the astrology girls, then it was the woman with crystals, now it's Etsy witches. What's next? The girl with the crescent moon tattoo? Your cousin who bought sage at Urban Outfitters? By 2026, I'm sure they're probably going to try and blame Bath and Body Works. Or brunch, or both. It's always easier to point at a woman doing literally anything other than pointing at the actual problem, which in this case was the guns. The witch trials never died, they just rebranded. Because as we're all aware, Etsy witches didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Killed Charlie Kirk. That's where the blame needs to be. Let's not forget, they burnt women at the stake to avoid looking in the mirror, and now they're blaming Etsy witches instead of blaming...
Writers at Jezebel.com paid an Etsy witch to curse Charlie Kirk. This happened on September 8th. Here's the headline. Today is September 10th. If you don't know what happened to Charlie Kirk, have a Google. That is a rapid turnaround time for an Etsy witch curse. I want to state for the record that I don't condone violence against other people. I think in a civilized and functional society, we should be able to work out our problems and our differences without resorting to that kind of thing. But as a practicing full-time witch, I did want to give you my 2 cents on Etsy witches and cursing and this situation. Jezebel have, of course, come out and said that they do not condone what has happened here. I have to wonder how the individual staff at Jezebel who did pay these Etsy witches to do this work are feeling in the wake of all of this. It is unusual that curse work has this quick of a turnaround time, but it is quite difficult. It's also against Etsy's terms and services to sell witchcraft on the site, but a lot of people do get around it. I have to say that I have historically not had the highest opinion of witches who sell their services on Etsy. My assumption has always been that Etsy witches are probably not the most effective. Maybe I need to revise my opinion. Now, whether or not what happened because of an Etsy witch curse, I cannot say. But I can say that that is a weird coincidence. And this is probably a good time to remind everybody that witchcraft is real. Witches are out here throwing curses and hexes. This happens. And if this is something that you are concerned about, you really should think about having a good cleansing and protection practice. We live in very interesting times.
Whether or not this Etsy witch curse worked or not, I did want to point to something very important. In the article, the author says, "I'd timed the purchase perfectly with the August new moon in Virgo. According to the astrology girls on TikTok, the specific new moon is the perfect time for forming new habits and aligning goals. My personal goal, cursing Kirk. The stars were aligned." Just for the record, I never said to curse or hex anybody on that specific new moon in Virgo. Okay. This type of astrology is called electional astrology, when you pick an auspicious day and time, and it's setting intentions around the new moon. However, I would caution against hexing and cursing people, just because you might accrue karmic debt. And by karma, I just mean the law of cause and effect. Hexing someone is some serious magic, so you want to make sure you know what you're doing. At the same time, I'm not judging. If that's the kind of witch that you are, if that's the kind of magic that you're willing to take one for the team, all power to you, babe.
If you're having a bad day at the office, just know you weren't the person to post this article 2 days ago. 2 days ago. You have some people showing up at your door, I am sure. Beside the point, nothing good, I fear, can come of this. Conservatives will simply reuse him as a martyr for the cause, like reheating a cantaloupe over and over again. If we get a fully totalitarian state because somebody got Charlie Kirk in a country that always has and gun violence that no conservative politician cares about until it's one of their own, yeah, I'm going to be a little annoyed. So, this isn't the time. Well, grieving is for people who care. I don't. One way or the other.
So go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think about this story down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful, okay? And let me know your take. Do you think the curse work? Do you think that, have you ever contacted a witch from Essence before? Because a lot of people are saying that there are like kids there doing witchcraft and all that. But you let me know if you have, or if you believe in witchcraft and you believe that witches can put X's on people and all that. Go down in the comment section, share your thought, but please, as always, please keep it respectful. Yeah, on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. Love to know what you guys think. For me personally, I just feel like the coincidence of that post and what happened to Charlie, I I don't like, it's too, the coincidence is too coincidenting. And I personally am from Nigeria, and I believe in witchcraft. I believe in powers that be. Okay. I believe in curse. I believe in voodoo. Those things are very powerful. And if you believe in those astrology, the full moon and all that, I personally, I believe in those. I kind of believe in, not all of them, but I believe that there are sometimes that the energy is really high, and if you manifest things, if you put things out there, to come to pass. I tried one and it did. So for me is, I kind of believe, what do I think? The coincidence is coincidence. But at the same time, we're not going to ignore the fact that US has a gun issue, and this man is somebody that perpetrates this gun and does not want the reform of guns and all that. And one thing I also believe too in life is the fact that I know for sure that people, karma is a bitch. Like, whatever you put out there to the universe, whatever you put out there to the world, who you are as a person, always find a way of coming back to you one way or the other. Like, I'm not going to take that, because if you go back to a lot of the things that he has said in the past and all that, it's almost like, ah, maybe this is karma, because this is somebody that said he doesn't have empathy. Believe empathy is a new generational word and all that. He is saying some person that said that people should be killed with gun, because those are the casualties that comes with them exercising their God's given right. This is somebody that says that, like, he has said a lot of things that has promoted the use of guns, and it's just so also coincidental that that's how he died. And you guys know, those of you that read the Bible, they say if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And they said if you live by guns, you die by guns. So for me, I'm just like, could that be it, or could it be the essence which that got to him and all that? But the coincidence is not coincidental. But either way, I do believe in witchcraft, and probably yes, some of those essence which, some of them may be real, just be somebody that just there. Like, some people have power, like they can connect with those type of powers like effortlessly. So yeah, yeah. Okay. You guys let me know what you guys think. Should go ahead, share your thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think. But please, as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but do it in a respectful way. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.